Hello students, this is level 3 English. This is for Jake's class and my class. I hope you're doing well. We've been inside for a long time, haven't we? Some of you are out working in your jobs. I hope that you have been able to stay healthy as you have done what you've needed to do outside your home. Jake is not able to post this week, so I will be posting 2 lessons this week. This is the last week of school that is scheduled. So after this week, there will be a little break, and then there will be some summer things, which you will hear about later. But for now, this is our last week together. We didn't make as much progress as we sometimes do, so we will see how next year goes. I wish I could see you now, but we will study the best way that we can. Today we are looking at understanding charts, and the chart that we're going to look at today is a timesheet. If you work, or if your husband or wife works, they often have to fill out a timesheet. Maybe they just put a card in and it's stamped on. But in my last 2 jobs, I actually had to fill out a timesheet on the computer. And I would say when I got to work, when I left work, and things like that. So we're going to look at a timesheet and talk about it. Even if you do not ever expect to have to fill out a timesheet, it is very good practice to understand a chart, to understand a timesheet, because it's a way of giving us information other than just reading sentences. So let's take a look at the timesheet in your book. It is on page 106. Let's make sure I've got the camera right. Okay. I'm going to show it to you on the board in a moment, but for now, let's talk about the different things on the timesheet. There's a couple of names on the timesheet. It says Laura De Silva, and down here it has Laura De Silva's signature, and here Helen Wilson. So whose timesheet is this? Is it Laura's or is it Helen's? Well, the word employee means the person who is working. So this tells us that this is Laura De Silva's worksheet. Under that it says rate. What does rate mean? It means how much she is paid. She is paid $12 an hour. So if someone asks you your rate, your hourly rate or your pay rate, some people are paid an amount every week. Some people are paid for every hour they work. And Laura is paid for every hour she works. So in this timesheet, there is a lot of information. There is the day of the week, and apparently Laura works 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then there is the date, 8/7. What does 8/7 mean? It means August 7th. So this is for the week of August 7th through August 11th. Does Laura come to work at the same time every day? If you look at time in, there are a number of different times. So she comes in every morning, but maybe the boss asks her to come in at different times. And then she goes out at different times. Is she done for the day at 12 noon? Well, it says time out 12 noon, time in 1 p.m. on Laura's Monday sheet. So every day she has an hour in the middle of the day. That's her lunch hour. So she writes her time out when she leaves. When she comes back after lunch, she writes the time in, and then the time out again when she leaves for the day. What are these numbers? It says hours. These are the hours she has worked each one of these days. So how many hours did she work on Wednesday? We can look at Wednesday and go over here and see she worked 9 hours. What does it say at the bottom? I have worked these hours. I understand that false information will result in my termination with the company. What does all of that mean? That means when she signs the paper, when she signs her timesheet, that she is saying, I have told the truth. These times are all true times. And if I have said a time that is not true, I may get fired. I may lose my job. Why does it say 8:14 here? That is the time, that is the day that she turned in her timesheet. So she left on Friday on the 11th, but she didn't turn it in until, let's see, 11, 12, 13, 14, until Monday, August 14th. What is this number here? 37. That is the total number of hours she worked this week. So you take all of the hours for each day and add them up, and you get to 37. There are some questions below here, and let's look at the first one together. What is Laura's hourly rate? Do you remember what hourly rate is? How much is she paid per hour? So we're looking for an amount of money. They gave us two numbers, $12 and $37. Here's 37 and here's 12. But this 12 is by rate, $12 an hour. So that is her hourly rate. C, $12. I'm not going to tell you the answers to the other ones. If you would like to do that page and send it to me or to Jake, we can check your answers. But I want to talk more about this timesheet. So let's look at the board. I have written the timesheet on the board. Some people find it difficult to understand charts like this. So I want to talk about them. I will ask you questions, and then I will show you how I know the answer. So this is just the days and the times part of the timesheet. Doesn't have Laura's name on it, but this is the same chart that is on page 106 in your book. That doesn't show up very well, does it? Let me do it in black. Page 106. Okay, so let me just ask you some questions. When did Laura start work on Thursday? How can you find that out? You say the answer, you look, and you say the answer, and then we'll talk about it. This is Thursday. So when I'm asking, when did she start? It's somewhere on this line, and starting would be the first time in. So we go over till we get to this part. She started work on Thursday at 7:30 a.m. I hope you can see that. Okay. What about Friday? What time did Laura go to lunch on Friday? Well, here is Friday. She came in at 9. When did she stop for lunch? 12 noon. Another way to write 12 noon would be 12 p.m. How many hours did Laura work on Wednesday? Well, we could look at Wednesday and we could do the math looking at the times. But look, here is a column hours. So we just go down this column until we get to Wednesday. And we see that she worked 9 hours on Wednesday. What time did Laura leave work on Monday? How do we know that? Leave for the day, not just for lunch. Here's Monday. She came to work at 9. She took lunch at 12, came back at 1, but she left the second time out at 4 p.m. on Monday. What time, let's see, let me think if there's another question that I should, okay, what day did Laura start work at 8:30 a.m.? How would you find that out? What day did she start work at 8:30 a.m.? Well, you look at time in, and here's 8:30. And so you could say either August 8th or Tuesday. She started work at 8:30 a.m. How many hours did Laura work for the whole week? This total means all of the hours together on this timesheet. So she worked 37 hours total. I hope you will look at the timesheet and answer the questions. You can have your husband or your children or your wife check the answers if they know how to read a chart, or you can send it to me or to Jake. Just take a picture with your camera and send it to us. Text us or on some other way. Send us the answers and we will check it. At the bottom of the page are some discussion questions. When do you start school or work? Because some of you work just in your home. So then you would answer the question, when do you start school? What days do you study or work? How many hours do you study or work each day? Do you like your schedule? Why or why not? I hope you will find someone that speaks English and discuss those questions in English. Help each other get better in English. What kinds of verbs would you use? When do you start school? That's simple present. So I start school at 9 a.m. If we were still at our building, we could say that. Or I could say I start work at 9 a.m. So try to answer those questions talking for practice with someone who speaks English or who can help you with English. All right. Later this week, I'll post our last lesson. I hope you have a good day. I miss you, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future.